Sierra Madre foothills with the Sierra de la Silla sitting just behind it. The distinctive double hump mountain that looks, if you squint, like a saddle waiting for a rider. And tonight, somebody gets to ride, somebody else goes home, because the Group A equation is wonderfully, beautifully and brutally simple. South Korea must not lose. South Africa have to win. The mountain is outside the stadium. The climb is on the pitch. For South Africa, the tournament has already been a test of nerve and nothing else. Flat and overcautious against Mexico, then more alive against Czechia, absorbing an early blow, staying together and stealing a point through Mokwena's late penalty when the crowd had almost written them off. But now the problem is as clear as it is brutal. They need a win. They have to chase it without Mokwena and Zwane, the two midfielders who normally give Bafana their control, their craft and their experience. 74-year-old Hugo Bruce has rebuilt this side from stagnation into something disciplined, and the team first and genuine, hard to break down. But tonight, structure has to become threat. Organisation has to become attack, and Bruce knows it, his players know it, and 45,000 people in the Steel Giant tonight are going to know it very quickly. South Korea are in the better position, but not a comfortable one, because there's no comfortable position in a game like this. They beat Czechia through Hwang In-beom's authority and Oh Hyung-gyu's winner, but lost 1-0 to Mexico in a tight, frustrating game that turned on a goalkeeping mistake neither side had scripted. Hong Myung-bo still has Sung Hyung-min. He still has Lee Kang-in, Hwang Hee-chan and Kim Min-jae, a spine that has been in tournament football, that knows what late pressure feels like, that has stood on pitches with everything on the line before. But the questions are the same ones that have followed this team all tournament. Are they sharp enough in the final third, solid enough when the game stretches, and South Africa pace? Can that get behind them? Or can they get behind them? They don't need to chase wildly tonight, but they cannot play like a team waiting for permission to progress. Hugo Bruce, the Belgium, knows a win is the only result that can get Bafana out of the group stage for the first time in their history. 16 years they've waited to be here again since they hosted it in 2010 and won't want that chance to go begging. He makes 3 changes, with Sitowell returning after his disaster in the opening game with his sending off, alongside Mofo Kenge and Mac Gopa, with Mokwena out despite scoring against Czechia to keep their hopes alive, as well as Adams and Reyners. He starts in a 4-2-3-1, a change from the 4-3-3 to go a little bit more attacking from the last game, with Williams in goal, Mudau, Ocon, Umpakazi and Modiba in the back line. Umbatha and Sitowell sit just in front. Maseko, Mofokeng and Apollos, who was excellent in qualifying and the African Cup of Nations, played behind the defender turned frontman Mac Gopa. Young Myunbo needs no introduction in this part of the football world. The 2002 icon, the bronze medalist on home soil, now in charge of the nation that helped shape him, but booed by his fans regularly due to a lack of trust. But a point will get them over the line, but a loss will see them miss out potentially. It's not the formality they would hope for coming into this game, as he also makes 3 changes, with Lee, Hwang and Oh coming in to lead the line, with Son, who will be a huge miss, dropping out. Lee and Kim also out. South Korea therefore line up in a 3-4-2-1 formation, with Kim Seung-gyu in goal, Lee Hang-bom, Kim Mun-jae and Lee Gi-hyuk at the back. Seoul, Paik, Hwang In-beom and Lee Tai-sok, the 4 in the middle, with Lee Kang-in and Hwang Hee-chan, the Wolvesman, sitting either side of Oh Hyung-gyu. Excuse me, who comes in for Son, who misses out on this one. He is there, however, on the bench. The referee is Facundo Tello of Argentina. Juan Pablo Belletti and Gabriel Schade on the lines, who have been supporting him throughout this tournament. Colombia's Andres Rojas as the 4th official. Tello has 4 minutes tournament already. He was in the middle for the Canada against Bosnia and Herzegovina game, where the new 5-second restart law had its first real headline during this competition. He arrives here with a reputation for handling fire, noise and flashpoints, and he may need every bit of that. South Korea want control, South Africa need chaos, and in the Steel Giant tonight, under the shadow of the great double hump mountain, the official team may find themselves managing not just fouls and counters, but two countries playing with the entire weight of the tournament underneath their boots. The Cerro de la Silla looks down, Monterrey holds its breath, and we are moments away from kickoff here in Mexico. Swain and Mukwena both miss out. Zwane with the red card. Mukwena accumulating multiple yellow cards. South Korea in their wonderful red strip, the one that they are known for the most. The red linked to passion, energy and determination. That's exactly what they will need tonight. And we are underway as South Korea kick us off from left to right. South Africa in their also familiar all yellow strip will be going from right to left. Bafana, the Rainbow Nation, knowing that they have to win if they want to go through. Fail to win and they are out of this competition. 2 points will not be enough. 3 may still not quite do it, which means South Korea will still be trying to play for a point. We've seen the difficulties that some sides may have, the likes of Scotland in the last game failing to beat or pick up a point against Brazil. Was always going to be a tough point for them to pick up, but it puts questions in the minds after Bosnia and Herzegovina beat Qatar to put themselves on 4 points. Canada missing out on opportunities as well to win their group, with Switzerland, who are always a side that's just seemed to turn up during these competitions every 4 years, even without Shaqiri in the lineup. With Canada losing on home soil first, but here in Mexico it's South Korea attacking early down the left-hand side, and they're going to have the first corner kick of the evening as well. It's just gone after 7 o'clock local time, wherever you are stationed in the world. If you are over in Korea, it's just gone 10 a.m. And in South Africa, it is the very, very depths of the night. Just gone 3 a.m. as the corner swinging towards the near post. The header comes back, and I think that's either been cleared off the line or off the post on the right-hand side from the angle. I couldn't see who that came off last, but it was a bullet header from inside the box from the corner, was whipped in beautifully from the far side, and as it just landed inside the area, and as a Korea man goes down inside the area, the referee waves play on and says Bafana have got away with that, as well as getting away with that chance moments ago, as it just trickles through to the Mamelodi Sundowns goalkeeper, Ronwen Williams, away to the right-hand side. But it was Kim Min-jae, the Bayern Munich man, who rose highest in the box. He just had 1 goal all season in his 80th appearance for South Korea. Known as the monster, the judo power, the sprinter pace. Was once Serie A's best defender and the most expensive Asian footballer ever. That doesn't take into account that Sonny was once, back in 2020, was told by the government that he brought about £1 billion into the economy. But Kim rose up and it was cleared off the line. He just peeled off his man. And on the line, waiting for it, was Madiba. Did ever so well to keep his position at the near post. Sometimes players are tempted just to drift away from the post once the ball has been sent into the box. Oh, Madiba cleared from the Kim header. And that was almost a perfect start for South Korea. They absolutely know they have to pick up a win here. It's something that they don't tend to do. They have the lowest win rate of any side at World Cups for sides that have played over 30 appearances. 7 wins, sorry, in the major tournaments that have made 30 appearances. 7 wins for themselves. USA, the next one's up in these competitions with 9. Picked up 1 already during this campaign. 2-1 win against Czechia. Hwang Yun-born equalised, and Oh Hyung-gyu, who starts up front, won it late in that contest. He then went and lost to Mexico. The Luis Romo punished the Kim Hyung-gyu handling error. He lacked quite a lot in the final third, but in the opening 5 minutes, they've had the better opportunity between the two sides so far. Mexico beat South Africa in their opener. It was the opening game to the competition. The exact same opening game as the 2010 edition. That one came out with a 1-1 draw, but on this occasion, Mexico running out 2-0 winners. It was a poor opener. The red cards damaged the game more than anything. An uncharacteristically defensive shape that South Africa had, and then the 1-1 draw against Czechia. A Sadilek early goal, Mokoena late penalty, and he misses out from the yellow cards. But South Africa making their way down the right hand side, and they'll have a corner kick. Early in the game, they've weathered the brief possessive storm that South Korea have had, and now they'll have their own opportunity to put the ball into the box. I'll keep you up to date with Czechia, Mexico as well. That have implications in this division as well, as the Mexican wave already being started. It can't be that bad from the fans as a shot comes in from the edge of the area from South Africa. Takes a deflection on the way through as Mofokeng, who lined it up the corner, wasn't the best, and it just fell out to the man who has come in to the midfield for South Africa. And with that trusty left boot, just puts it over the top of the bar with a deflection on the way through. As the corner is to be taken from this near left-hand side as South Africa are attacking. The runners go towards the near post. The ball goes a little bit more central, the 6-yard box, but it's dealt with ever so well by the Koreans, then cleared towards the left-hand side, towards Hee Chan, who just turns on a dime and heads towards his own goal and finds Shun Ho in the middle. A little bit of work from Gi Hook in the left side of that back three. Min Jae occupying the middle of the three. Han Buom to the right, and will be supported by Tae So-ek and Jung Woo on the right-hand side, who will transition into a back five when they do have to defend. But going forward, it will be with three at the back. Korea with the ball, just working it inside the South Africa half, breaking it down towards the right-hand side and sending it forward, looking for Jung Woo, who puts it through that corridor and certainly comes all the way back across, sent back into the area. One touch and a strike, and oh, it's put wide. And Kang In, he appeals for a corner, but he really should have found the back of the net. And South Korea, not sure how they haven't put the ball into their South Africa goals. A wonderful ball down the right-hand channel in towards Jung Woo. He put it through the corridor and searched. He came all the way across there. Hee Chan sent it back inside the area. And Kang In took one touch, pushed it towards his left-hand side to open up the angle. And with his left boot, he just couldn't quite find the back of the net, and it looked like it was going to be ever so close for the Paris Saint-Germain player. He's got 11 goals in 47 appearances for the national team, 4 this season for PSG. As the 25-year-old fly shoot Dory Child turned PSG treble winner, and one of Korea's finest left-footed attackers, and almost used that trusty left boot to put his side ahead and into a very comfortable position. The goal will set the tone. Czechia also have a possibility to go through as well. Whoever finishes bottom, if both Czechia and South Africa win and they both end up on 4 points, they will both go through, with South Korea ending bottom of the group on 3. It will be the harshest of outcomes for one of these sides if that was to take place. But neither Czechia or South Africa have yet to get a win on the board in this tournament so far, but that could all change here with the lovely ball floated in towards the right-hand side into the box. But excellent goalkeeping from Kim Seung-gyu, the FC Tokyo man, in his 88th appearance for the 35-year-old. The keeper rivalry veteran supermodel husband, Kim Byung-ji, disciple. He made the costly error against Mexico after plenty of Cheche heroics. But he's going to be needed in this game just to patrol his box as it comes out. It's the man that just had that opportunity moments ago, Kang In, but he can't quite get the ball forward. It's a good block, just goes in on the halfway line, and Korea are just forced back towards their own goalkeeper, sitting on the edge of his own area. But 10 minutes gone, bit of a nervy, edgy affair so far. Neither side really able to get completely on top of the game. They've both had a couple of corners. Korea have had the best opportunity in the very early stages, from Kim Min-jae having one cleared off the line, and then from Kang In whisking a shot wide. But it was South Africa as well, who have also had a couple of attempts from the edge of the area as well. Korea keeping control with the ball for the time being. Moving across towards the left-hand side, 5 yards inside the South Africa half. Playing a little bit more central. No Son in this game, and then they played into the front man of Hyung-gu, but he just couldn't quite turn on that occasion. It was a wonderful ball, he just didn't quite read it. And Young-woo races across as well. The space just opened up for South Korea. In behind the back line of that South Africa defence, Nokon and Umbukazi, who were far more reliable at the back than they were showing just then. And Hugo Bruce, the 74-year-old, screaming instructions from the touchline, rather frustrated with the opportunity that almost presented itself to South Korea, who are back on the ball halfway inside the South Africa half. Kim moves it down the left-hand side. Tae-swick sees no opportunity and will bring it back towards the centre circle, where Kim Min-jae will once again get hold of it and move it across the right-hand side to Ham Webb. Keeps it going in towards Kang In. Trying to work it down the right-hand channel, but just runs into a little bit of traffic, but he's plenty of experience at a high level and links up really well once and then twice, and trying to drive forward, but just tried a little bit too much than he probably should have done before finding a pass, and gives the ball away, but quickly retrieved by South Korea, and now pushed down the left-hand side towards Tae-suk, who's cross in towards the box. Comes off Mudau and then back off Tae-suk. And the goal kick goes South Africa's way. 12 minutes into this game. South Africa in their 4th finals appearance. It's their first since 2010 when they hosted the competition. The first successful qualifying campaign since 2002. Only ranked 60th in the world. They were once ranked in the top 20 back in the 1990s. And South Korea have found themselves here far more often. It's their 12th finals appearance. They've been out in the group stage in 3 of the last 5 competitions. They've not passed the round of 16 since they hosted it in 2002, where they finished an incredible 4th place, beating the likes of Spain and Italy on their way to a 1-0 defeat to Germany in the semi-final. He then went on to lose to Brazil. There's a ball sent towards the right-hand side inside their own half for South Africa, and is almost picked off by Hee Chan, who was racing across the Wolves man. He had a wonderful season 2 years ago in the Premier League for Wolverhampton Wanderers, did Hwang Hee Chan, but just 2 goals for the Bull, the former Salzburg man, Haaland's mate. And he is known for scoring the fastest career goal ever. The man who answered Guardiola by scoring as the ball comes in towards the box for South Africa, but it's Matt Gopper who can't quite get a full connection on it, just whisked off the top of his head, but it was a deep ball looking towards the penalty spot. Across came Matt Gopper, who rose high as the head of Jin Yuk. just about did enough to put off the front man for South Africa and goes out for a goal kick. Careers qualification. They were unbeaten in 16 games to get to this competition. They scored 40 goals, conceded just 8. But their manager still gets booed everywhere he goes by the South Korean fans. They don't have too much trust in him. And despite a wonderful qualifying campaign, there is a little bit of uncertainty. And that will certainly be felt during this game. A point will be enough to get themselves through to the next round. A win against Czechia. And the change of rules to head-to-head will mean that South Africa will stay above Czechia, even if Czechia do win. In that game, Mexico have sealed the top of the group regardless. And South Africa have a free kick on the far side. They just play it in towards the right hand side of the box, but it can't be controlled by Muff O'Kane, and just trickles out for a goal kick as the advertising boards around are attracting those in Korea and in Japanese, I believe. It is one of my favourite places in the world, is Korea and Japan. Very, very similar. Korea, sort of a mini version of Japan in terms of everything that it does have, but they're both special in their own rights. A wonderful mix of very classic Korean architecture and the modern that they have as well. It's a fascinating place. When I was there, I made a trip to the DMZ to a little bit more history about the entire peninsula. Into Busan and Jeju Island as well, the Hawaii of Korea, as it is very fondly known. And South Africa just about keeping the ball on this near side, halfway inside their own half. Looking to try and go over the top, but just going a little bit too far. And South Africa just haven't been able to offer too much inside these opening 17 minutes. And it's been a little bit slow, a little bit patient. South Korea are much happier with how this game has started. They haven't really had to do too much to push South Africa away from their goal. But I'm sure the populations waiting and listening and watching in their home countries are doing so intently. The 61 million in South Africa and the 51.5 million in Korea, intently listening on to this game to see how all of their sides fare and whether they can make it into the next round of the competition. South Africa were deducted 3 points during the qualification despite winning the group. They played Mokoena when he was ineligible, but still finished top ahead of Nigeria, which shows that they certainly have plenty of quality. Other sides that won that nobody really expected was Cape Verde. They would have made it if it was just 32 sides as well. With South Korea trying to whip it into the penalty area from this near right-hand side, but it's cleared out nicely by South Africa, and now they can try and come away with the ball, and the counter is on over on the far right-hand side. It's 3-on-2 to Bafana down the right-hand side. Shot comes in, but what defensive work that is from Ji Hook. Just tracking back, keeping with the runner. It was an excellent attack. Maseko was sent free down the right-hand side. A wonderful touch on the left from Apollos just to open up the space into Sitole. Maseko kept himself onside inside his own half. And then he tried to pull it back onto his left, and it just allowed the opportunity for Ji Hyuk to get himself across. And just did enough to get the block in as it goes out for a corner kick. Just 4 though inside the area for South Africa for this corner. They'll have to be a little bit more attacking than that. Sent in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's very easy for South Korea to get rid of, but comes back out towards the edge of the area once again in towards Umbukazi. Apollos takes a strike and it bounces once in front of Kim Seung-gyu, but it's straight down his throat and meat and drink for a keeper of his quality, the 35-year-old. He's been there, done that, got the t-shirt for South Korea. And he certainly wouldn't make two mistakes. In back-to-back games, South Korea sitting 25th in the world as it stands. That robust spine, the Sun talisman when he does play. Kim Min-jae in defence and Hwang Lee Kan-gin, the creativity. But there are questions over the ideal shape and sharpness, fitness of certain key players, which may be the reason why Sun hasn't started in this fixture. And his trade now over in the MLS. For Los Angeles FC, the 33-year-old. He manages to come on, trying to chase down his 57th goal for the national team. A national icon that can close down streets in his home country. But at the moment he's being denied a chance to play for them. In that red shirt, black shorts and red socks that South Korea have been known to wear. They knocked out Germany in the last competition in the final group game. A huge upset to send themselves. They send Germany out. And to get themselves through to the next round as well, which they didn't progress from. But it's nice methodical play. Now pushed it down the left-hand channel looking for the runner, but then the cross in towards the area. Looking to go to the opposite side to Young-woo, just a little bit too far and too ambitious from Tae Seok down the left-hand side. As we're halfway inside the first half of this game. South Africa 0. South Korea 0. We saw Brazil beat Haiti. Sorry, Brazil beat Scotland by 3-0. Morocco beat Haiti by 4-2 as well. Haiti led in that game on 2 occasions inside the first half. Earlier on, Switzerland beat Canada 2-1. Bosnia-Herzegovina beat Qatar by 3-1. And then we won't talk too much about the England game that took place last night as an Englishman. It was by far and away the worst game that we have seen in this competition as the hydration break takes place here in Monterrey. It is a very cool evening in a very warm evening, I should say, in Monterrey. It's 29 degrees. It's been a fairly warm one. There are some parts of the world going through heat waves as well. Back in Leeds, where I'm from, it's been just as hot today, tomorrow and the next day, and maybe even on Saturday as well, as it is in some places around Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Iran. But for these players, this is an occasion where a hydration break is needed. Unlike some of the other games, we were seeing the England game last night when it was raining. There was also Colombia scoring a great goal against DR Congo to put themselves through to the next round. Croatia as well, scoring it 10-15 minutes into the second half to beat Panama as well, to give themselves hope and to send Panama out. Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo scoring 2 and Portugal 5 against Uzbekistan, with Cristiano Ronaldo screaming, I'm back, after scoring a brace. Well, I think somebody should have told him it was Uzbekistan and not France, Spain or Argentina. The opposite of what Lionel Messi might do when he scored his 5 goals so far, and it's to embrace the team doing well rather than individual achievement. That is a significant difference between the two players, and it has been for the last 20 years that we've all been watching those two wonderful players for very different reasons. And we can certainly say that Lionel Messi, the greatest to ever do it, and he continues to do it, and it just for some reason baffles you as to why he moved across to the MLS at such a young age. If he was doing so well as Sitole, he's out just receiving a little bit of treatment to his head off the sideline at the moment. So the game back on the way, but South Africa down to 10 men. South Korea trying to take advantage of that 26 minutes into this game. It comes back out towards the right-hand side. Opportunity to put the ball into the box from Kang In, but he just turns back onto his left, tries to whip across, but it's blocked and comes back out towards Ham Wen. Moves it in towards Kim on the halfway line, then back a more central. And South Korea really want to take advantage of having an extra man here down the right-hand channel. Kang In feeds Young Woo, who continues on to Mbwem, who wins the corner kick for Korea. And now Sitole might be able to make his way back onto the pitch. It's still 0-0 between Czechia and Mexico in that game. I'll keep you up to date with how that does unfold, because it will certainly have implications across the board. As it stands, it's South Korea joining Mexico in the next round, with Czechia and South Africa who will be out of the competition. As the corner is sent in towards the near post, missed completely by Kim. Play back out towards the edge of the area, which Kim will then pick up the ball. Moves it across towards the right-hand side, in towards Kang In once again. Brings it onto his left, and his ball floated in towards the box. Goes past absolutely everybody, and out for a goal kick to South Africa, which does allow Sitole, who had a very difficult opening night for South Africa, to make his way back onto the pitch for Hugo Broos's men. It's the first ever meeting between these two sides, and it's not been the most memorable opening half an hour to the game. South Africa's 2010 opener against Mexico still hangs over their history in this competition. There is a chance to write a very different final group chapter tonight. South Korea's modern tournament identity is tied to when they co-hosted it with Japan in 2002. The recent groups have been about nerve. Portugal 2022, and now South Africa in 2026. Those are the games that will be eyed up by the fans as being ones that could make such a difference. So the throw-in goes South Korea's way after it was taken too long by South Africa to get the ball back into play on the halfway line. And that's certainly what you don't want to do when you need to win this game. A draw isn't good enough for South Africa. A draw isn't good enough for Czechia. A draw is good enough for Mexico and South Korea. But thankfully they aren't playing each other like what happened. I can't tell you which exact game it was. It was Austria against Hungary many moons ago. The reason for new rules being brought in. And here's South Africa on the ball, 5 yards inside their own half, across towards the right-hand side of the pitch, trying to shift it in towards the left-hand side, but a good touch from Apollos, just goes a little bit too high for him, but manages to bring it down in the second attempt, and the referee rejects the calls for a free kick from the crowd, from Hugo Broos and from those in attendance as well. I certainly thought that was a free kick. It's just taken out on the ball, but the ball is then eventually given away to South Africa. It's Mbathe who pushes it across towards the right-hand side into Mersetko once again, driving in towards the box, coming back onto his left. There's space on the left-hand side for Mofokeng, who plays it in towards the middle, comes in for the shot, comes back out to the 6-yard box, and it's straight into the goalkeeper once again. And that is a huge opportunity for South Africa. It was a good run down the right-hand side from Sitterwell once more. He drew it back onto his left-hand side. The shot came in from Umbatha. And Matt Gopper thought he might have strayed offside. I think from the replay, he looks like he's onside. And from 5 yards in front of the keeper, he's played it straight into the keeper's hands. And that is poor from the front man, the Orlando Pirates front man. He's gone from being a defender to a traditional striker. But he finished that one just like a defender. Matt Gopper missing a huge chance on the rebound from the keeper, who just couldn't quite keep hold of the ball. And now South Korea tried to make their way down the left-hand side. The cross into the box, those easily dealt with by South Africa, who just clear it out towards the far side of the pitch for a throw-in, halfway inside their own half. And a third of the way through this game. Remember, you can watch the games through your local network provider, or the official provider as well. And we will bring you all the action straight to your ears to accompany that. What a real opportunity moments ago from Matt Gopper. He's a traditional striker. He's big, he's aerial, he's wholehearted, unfazed by fan criticism. But I'm not sure he'll be able to escape a lack of criticism on that occasion from that shot. That could be a huge moment in this tie in South Africa's tournament. And missing it could well send them home on an early flight as Korea trying to make their way forward. But South African player is down at the halfway line. The referee, Fakunda Tello, will come across to see if he does need any treatment. And I don't think he does need any treatment down inside the centre circle. Evidence Matt Gopper. He came in for the challenge when Min Jai lost out to the ball. Just got bullied off it by the big Bayern centre half. And he's back underway once again, and he's back inside the Korean half away to our left-hand side. Played in towards the centre circle, but given away, and now South Africa will try and counter-attack over on the far right-hand side. Trying to hold them off is Seong Ho, but it's been pushed across towards Apollos on this near left-hand corner of the penalty area. Little link-up play, then return pass just a little bit too far in front of him. Allows those in red to clear their lines and try and counter with their own attack. Lovely little interchange play between Kang In. Moves across towards the left-hand side, and the tackle goes in by Umbatha, and the free kick goes South Korea's way. 12 minutes in to go before half-time, plus any stoppage time that the referee may wish to add. I'm sure he'll add a couple of minutes. We've seen at least 5-6 minutes added for every game. The stoppage for the hydration breaks. A long shot comes out from South Korea and Hee-chan, but nowhere near the target, and that one won't threaten Ronwen Williams in the goal. He'll certainly be looking to put a couple of the recent results behind him, Ronwen Williams. That 2-0 defeat to Mexico on opening night, where there was 3 red cards in the whole of Qatar 2022. There was only 4 red cards in the space of one game. We were only 1 behind that, and there's been a couple more since as well, which will define this tournament as time goes on. But 6 attempts to 4 for South Africa. They've had more on target as well, and they've just started to grow into this game, build a little bit of momentum and get the foothold onto it. But it's currently with South Korea 10 yards inside their own half, away to the left-hand side. Played nicely in the middle to Imbuem. Links up with Min Jai, who follows it across the left towards Gi Hyuk. Sends it down the line looking for Hee Chan, who tries to turn him on a dime, but the referee saying there was no foul there, and South Africa will come again, this time with a polish. Tries to drive a little bit more central. He had plenty of space towards his left-hand side. I'm surprised he didn't try and do it. Try and make his way down the left-hand channel and then put a cross in towards the box. As South Korea can't quite clear the lines, but the referee will give them a helping hand by giving them a free kick inside their own half. And the referee right in front of it. There's a couple of challenges that did come in, and the referee in the end bringing it back for the first one. And it was Sitterwell who committed the foul for South Africa. As Korea get the game underway once again, moving across to the left-hand side, switched down in towards the deep right channel towards Young Moo. Little one touch and back again towards Min Jai, who's inside his own half and just missed the ball for a moment, so has to go and retrieve it away to the left-hand side and then try and start the pressure again from an England perspective. Switched again down towards the right-hand side towards Hyung Moo. Laid it back in towards the middle to Young Kyu, but nothing really coming out of that one for South Korea, and it is certainly being played like a game between a side that knows a draw is enough and a side that certainly wants his side to go through. He's back to the right hand side with Williams. Moves it towards Mudau. Back again towards Williams on the edge of his own 6-yard box, and this time he'll just look up, go long and try and find the runner going in behind the back line, but a little bit too far. From the South Africa captain, the penalty shootout historian and guardian angel believer. Brazil put 5 past him, but it never shook him. He keeps his composure as best he can. 7.5 minutes to go before half time. Still South Africa 0, South Korea 0. It's still Czechia 0, Mexico 0 in that game as well. Both games having real implications on how this group could potentially finish. It's not the same as Bosnia-Qatar, where it was just winner takes all out of those two sides. It really is anyone's guess which way this will go. It's down the left-hand side again, and the cross in towards the box just takes a, well, it looked like it took a deflection on the way through by Tae Suek, but it came off the South African player's heel first and over the top of his own crossbar. So still 0-0 here with 7 minutes to play. South Africa trying to clear the lines but doing ever so poorly with it. It's played towards the edge of the area, but then a poor first touch by Tae Suek just allows South Africa to come away with a ball, and it's over the top of the bar once again, and it's Maseko who keeps eyeing it up from the right hand side, driving in towards the centre, looking to try and offer something for this South Africa team, but on that occasion just putting it high, wide and over the top of the crossbar. Marajoy looks on from the crowd, cusps her ears. I'm not sure she'll need to do that too long with the amount of Moroccan fans who have made the journey for this game. In the heart, the South African fans who have made the long journey, from the south of the continent to be here for this game. I was just looking at the Morocco score against Haiti, that 4-2. Winning the game just before this, giving them some life and getting them through to the next round. The semi-finalists 4 years ago, beaten by France on that occasion. How they'd love to go one further. The African Cup of Nations email champions, as we'll call them for the time being. Senegal still claiming to be the AFCON champions. It will be decided by CAS depending on what evidence has been given, and we'll wait and see for the eventual outcome, and it may change hands, that trophy. Once more, Senegal refused to actually give it up and said, if you want it, come and get it, and not too sure anyone did actually go and get it, as South Korea win a free kick just off the right hand side of their own penalty area, level with the edge of the box. It's sent long by Seung-yu, looking down the right hand side for the runners. Takes a little touch on the way through and then just cleared back out. Ronwen Williams just going to send it forward once again, and then the tackle goes in by Gi Hyuk, and the free kick's been given to South Africa with 3.5 minutes of the first half to go, plus any time to be added on. They'll take the time to get this ball into the box, and it was cleared away initially by Maseko, looking to put a cross in towards the box, and the sliding tackle that came in from Gi Hyuk, doing ever so well to get there first, and it'll be an opportunity to put the ball into the penalty area for Bafana Bafana. South Korea trying to play a high line. There's 8 in that back line. There's 5 in between for South Africa. They'll need to go on to a dime. It's taken quickly and sent towards the left-hand side. Chested down towards the edge of the area. Comes back out and the shot whipped around by Mofo Keng. Couldn't quite get his foot far enough around the ball, and it goes about 10-15 yards off target away to the left-hand side of the goal. And it looked like a clever free kick initially, just deceiving that big back line that South Korea had, but then the shot was left to be desired. And with 3 minutes to play, you can watch the games through your local network broadcaster. Will bring you the sounds to your ears. And with 3 minutes to play, it's anyone's guess which way the coin will settle in this one, as South Africa try and move it across towards the right hand side. Space just slightly opens up, and then the runner goes in as well with Umbafa. Tries to pull it back towards the edge of the penalty area again, but then the shot's taken and it's blocked by the crowd of South Africa players, and South Korea will come away with the ball once more. Kang In just trying to turn and wriggle free, but has his pocket picked by Apollos. And now South Africa can try and attack themselves. 2 minutes to play inside this first half. 10 yards inside the Korean half in the centre circle, just passing it around and moving it themselves. Looking to try and find the space down either flanks. Only one of these teams could potentially, or both of these teams could potentially go through if they were both capable. Or both this side, sorry, and Chechua could go through if they were both capable of getting wins. In this tournament so far, we have seen that that might be a bit of a tougher ask than it is on paper, as Modiba inside his own half gives it Mbukazi, moves it across towards the left hand side. Ernoko looks up and sends it down the left. It's an excellent ball, and it's an excellent run as well by Modiba. Sends it back in towards the area, then just hacked clear by those in red, and then the linesman's flag eventually does come up against Modiba. I thought he was able to keep hold of his run. It would have been very interesting. And that found its man. Modiba did ever so well just to pluck it out of the sky and try and find the pass in towards the penalty area. Flag going up. Replay does look quite tight. A decision. Had he found the back of the net, it would have taken them a little bit of time to decide if that was going to be a goal or not. But on this occasion, the linesman's blushes are spared, and it remains 0-0 with 30 seconds plus stoppage time to go inside the first half. It's moved from right to left through Hambrion, Min Jai and Yi Hyuk across that back line. Linkin Taiswick again over on the far side as they move into a back five down the right hand line, looking for the rung of Jung Woo. Back in towards Han Bo. As the 45 minutes are up and just 4 minutes have been added on by the fourth official. It's just down in front of us. It's been a lacklustre first half between both of these two sides. The England-Ghana game was a difficult one to watch last night. This is equally so. Nothing has really happened since the early chance for South Korea, and the ball just trickles out of play for a South Africa throw. South Africa goal kick, apologies, away to the right-hand side. And in this stadium that was opened in 2015, it has a tournament capacity of 53,500, home of CF Monterrey. It's nicknamed the Steel City, with a cantilever roof designed for shade and airflow. As the ground sits just below the Cerro de la Silla mountain. The views of one of the great stadium images of the tournament, when photos have been taken from the mountain on the opening night that this ground did hold a game. It's back with Ronwen Williams. 2.5 minutes of the 4 added on. Sends it across towards the right-hand side, and hugging that right-hand channel is Maseka. Continues it down the right, but the linesman's flag once again goes up against South Africa, and it's becoming all a little bit too lazy for South Africa inside the opening 45 minutes of this game. Been called offside a number of times when they really didn't need to be. Had they got through, they certainly would have done a little bit more damage than they might give themselves credit for. But it does allow the clock just to trickle down towards half-time. Both managers will certainly be having a word. For the South Korean manager, he'll be saying more of the same, please. A point is a point, let's just take it. I'm also sure he'll be saying that he wants to get a win as well. And the American manager who... the Korean manager who has taken a booze with his time for the national team. He'll be asking a little bit more of the same. And the South African manager knows that he, Hugo Bruce, has to rally his troops for the second half to try and find at least a goal that can put them ahead into this game, something to defend. Because as it stands, they will be going out of the tournament and South Korea will be going through. Moved across towards the left-hand side. Those in red trying to attack with 60 seconds of stoppage time to go. Down the left-hand channel once again, looking for the rung of Kang In, who's just switched sides, but he loses out to Mbatha, who clears it towards the halfway line. A slight header towards in the air by Matt Gupper, higher than Bob Marley. Ends up bringing it down ever so well and moves it across to Apollos on this near left-hand side. Linking up then a little bit more centrally. Can't quite feed the pass through, and it's eventually just hacked away 1, 2, 3 times by South Korea, but the ball's picked up again down the right-hand side. Opportunity to put the cross in from Hee Chan, but he just runs out of space, but he's quite happy to allow it to go out because it's going to be the South Africa corner late on in this first half. And now the challenge is simple and the questions are surmountable for South Africa. The ground completely filled with various countries and various quality shirts. Plenty of Mexican fans in as the corner comes in, and it's played in towards the near post and headed back out towards the man. Sitowell having a volley from the edge of the penalty area, but just dragging his shot wide, and that will be the end of the first half. It's a first half that has left everything in the dressing room, because they didn't really bring anything out onto the pitch. A drab first half comes to a close. It looked like it was going to be an excellent game that kicked off after Modiba cleared off the line from a Kim header in the opening 3 minutes of the game. Gang in then put his shot wide after driving from the right-hand side. And then there was also a miss up the other end as well for South Africa on the rebound. Matt Gupper just racing in from the shot that came in from the edge of the box from Mbatha. And it was spilled by the keeper. Matt Gupper just placed it straight to the goalkeeper instead. Not an exciting first half, but it's all to play for in the second half. It's also 0-0 in the game between Czechia and Mexico. If you're in South Africa staying up to listen to this one, I feel for you. If you're in South Korea and you've been listening this morning, go and grab yourself a coffee, because we don't want to send you back to bed in the second half. South Africa need to win. South Korea doing the job. 0-0.
Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page.
Welcome back all to the second half. South Korea have made 3 changes at half time. And as you can imagine, from what was a very, very, very drab first half, they brought on a couple of attacking options. Son Heung-min has come on, Jens Kastrup and Kim Jin-gyu all making their way on. Seong-ho, the Birmingham City La Masia expectation, English football education man, makes his way off. Tae-seok from Austria Vienna in his 16th game, a mirror image of his 2002 father, who played in the tournament wearing same number 13, making his way off as well. And also Hwan Hee-chan, the Wolves man, can't quite add to his 17 goals he's got for his country. So I will run you through the teams, and no changes for South Africa at half time. They still know that the job for them is to win. South Korea will be disappointed with the quality that they had in the first half. They had the better chances of the two sides, and they had more chances of the two sides. The best chance probably actually came to South Africa. So South Africa line up with Ronwen Williams still in goal. Kuliso moved out, another one from Mamelodi Sundown. This is his 35th appearance. Sailor sails up the right, makes tackles. Leadership, and Bruce now calling him Africa class. On the right hand side, Modiba is on the left, the postman known for always delivering, the technical left back, and the 2 centre halves, Umbukazi and Ime Orkon, who plays his trade in Germany for Hanover. Sitting in front of them is Batha from Orlando Pirates and Sitowell from Tondela. The man who was made in Portugal, sent off in that opening game. Maseko, Mofokeng and Opolis, the 3 that sit just behind fellow Orlando Pirates Mac Guppa, with plenty of players coming from the South African top league. But it's South Korea attacking down the right hand side early inside the second half with Young Woo, who occupies that right hand side, but Kim remains in goal. Hanbong, Min Jai and Ji Gyuk, the back 3. Young Woo and Jens in Boom are the midfield. Kang In Sun and Kim Jin-gyu are the midfield 3 that sit just behind Hyung-gyu up front. Who looks like it actually might be a front 2 with Sun and Hyung-gyu going forward. So he's just lurking on the edge of the penalty area. Can't quite win the ball himself though, but it's given away over on the far side. Picked up by Kim Ying-ju. Driving towards the right hand side, opens up the space towards the left with Sun, but his pass just a little bit too far in front of Jens, who's just made his way on. And Kastrup, the Borussia Mönchengladbach German-born barrier breaker, who chose Korea to show diversity as possible and bring the midfield full-back versatility. Plays his trade over in Germany, but occupying the left-hand side of the South Korea team for the remainder of this evening. 3.5 minutes then gone into the second half. I'll also keep you up to date as well with Czechia, Mexico. In that game, not too much to shout about from that contest either, just looking at that game. A few more shots though, not too many goalkeeper saves. Well, comparative to this game, South Africa have had 10 shots to South Korea's 4. South Korea have had the majority of the possession, 60-40, but it hasn't quite matched. And South Korea, going from right to left, will win themselves a corner kick down in the right-hand channel, but it actually will be overturned by VAR instead. And Facundo Tello, the referee, he's got that spot on along with VAR. It just came back off. Hyung-gyu down the right-hand side. Off his standing leg, an excellent defensive work from South Africa. And they're able to clear the lines. And that is the reason that one of those rules has been brought in, that VAR is able to check. And as we keep saying, South Africa don't want to find themselves falling behind here. We saw it in the game earlier on between Bosnia and Qatar. One of those sides had to win to go through. Qatar went behind and almost collapsed inside the first half before a mini revival. And then a late punisher. But South Africa find themselves here behind the back line. Can they finally take the lead here? No, it's excellent defending. And it's really good work. It's too poor from Maseko. The ball came through, right through the middle of the heart of the Korean defence. A long-range effort then goes in, but it's well wide of the left-hand post from Mbatha on that occasion. But it was excellent work from South Africa in the middle. The header was one. It drew out two defenders. A nice little touch into the path of Maseko. He then tried to draw it back onto his left-hand side, but in doing so, it allowed the defenders of Castro and of Hamburg to get behind the ball. Hugo Broos frustrated in the dugout down in front of us. Maseko should really have done better. He's only scored one goal for his country after 662 days without a start. He was revived, and a counter-attacking runner with patience learned the hard way, and on that occasion the 22-year-old. Well, we need a little bit less patience more than anything, and just to wrap his foot through it. And you need to find a goal. There's no point in trying to tickle your way through the heart of a defence. Just get your foot through the strike. Test the goalkeeper. We've seen in this game, we saw in the last game, the goalkeeper can make errors that can lead to goals. And that is a missed opportunity for South Africa at the start of this second half. 7 minutes gone into the second half. 35 minutes left to play. 38 minutes, I should say, left to play. It's getting into the evening. And the game hasn't been all too exciting compared to some of the other wonderful games. It's not quite on par with the boring game that England and Ghana put up last night, as a lovely ball goes all the way across, looking for the runner Gastrup, but he just can't quite find the run down the left-hand side. And Korea, known for its K-pop, its Korean barbecue, which, by the way, is simply delicious. They are the most successful Asian team in this competition throughout history. They're wanting to continue that by going through. They're currently sitting in second place on 4 points. Mexico top the group with 7. Czechia and South Africa both sitting on 2 points below them at the moment. But with both games sat on a knife edge, anything can happen inside this second half, and we know that it is always a game of two halves, or as the Americans want to try and make a game of 4 quarters. But the majority of real football fans know it won't be welcome, and we know it also won't be coming into the European Championships as well. The governing body of the European competition have already said there won't be, as it's gone back towards the keeper. Tackle goes inside the area. The referee's happy to allow play to continue, but as South Korea passed it back towards Seong-gyu in the goal, Matt Gopper taken off the ball, but it comes back out towards Maseko, trying to pull it onto his left-hand side. Plays it towards the left, but an excellent sliding tackle goes in from Hamburg once again. And this time the referee does give a free kick, and it goes South Korea's way as a late challenge just comes in from Apollos down the left-hand side. On Young-woo just doing the defensive work, but as the ball came across in towards the box, the goalkeeper Kim Seong-gyu had to race out to it, but taken off the ball, not being checked by VAR. 10 minutes into the second half, as Mexico have taken the lead against Czechia. That will keep them out of the questions, and that will at least give these two sides a little bit more comfort and a little bit more hope that they can progress. 3 points could potentially still get you through to the next round, depending on how the remainder do. But 4 points is a certainty at this stage of the competition. Over on the far right-hand side, the cross comes in towards the area, flicked on towards the left-hand channel again, and it's picked up by Gastrup, who'll just send it back towards the halfway line and allow Korea just to try and start again. Picked up by Gi-juk. in towards Sun to try and add a little bit of creativity into this Korea side in the second half, and the Mexicans inside the stadium here who haven't been able to go to the game against Czechia. They're on their feet and they are dancing away. The news has reached the ground that they are leading against Czechia, and the green shirts that occupy the majority of the seats here are delighted with that one. It will put them maximum points in the standings, which also means they'll have a few games on home soil in the knockouts. The English were always a little bit worried about playing Mexico in Mexico. They've only lost twice at the Azteca in 60 years. That was to Honduras and Costa Rica of all sides. But it's an incredible record that will certainly bode well in this competition as time goes on and the game goes deeper, or the tournament goes deeper and deeper. We're coming up to, well, into the second, third week now of the tournament. The third round ends this weekend on Saturday. Mexico at the moment winning the group by 5 points, which would be absolutely incredible. Les Castro can play a lovely ball across the corridor of uncertainty, but there's no one there to stab it home. Hyung-gyu was trying to race in, just a little bit too slow to get onto the end of it, but it was an excellent ball. Gastrop has added plenty of spirit and liveliness since coming on. Sun played him the ball down the left-hand channel as it trickles out for a goal kick to South Africa, who will themselves see a little bit of hope in Czechia going behind. It does mean that if they do win, they will be above them. Czechia won and South Africa both won, and Czechia would go through ahead of them in second place, and South Africa would remain in third. While still going through, it would give them a little bit of an easier route. Although in this tournament, you never know how it is going to really end up. The current expectation for where sides could play, the only one that's guaranteed is Bosnia against the United States. Really, that doesn't look like that's going to change. If it all stays as it is, South Korea will go up against Canada in the next round. That's certainly a game that South Korea would expect to win on a normal day, but maybe not when one of those teams, when the other opposition is a host. But the only sides we know exactly where they are going to be is Germany, Mexico, USA, Switzerland and Argentina. The rest all undecided about where they are going to find themselves, what games they're going to play. It chops and changes every single time. DR Congo losing yesterday means that England could likely play DR Congo if they can find a win against Uzbekistan. If not, excuse me, Senegal are waiting in the wings to take that spot, but it could also change again. As an Englishman, always trying to look ahead, but really the sensible thing is to always just look at your next game. They will be going through. Can't see them going through too far though, and matching the quality that we've seen from the likes of France and Argentina. Germany and Spain certainly look beatable on their day, but Spain did answer the questions that were posed of them after that 0-0 draw with Cape Verde. England will be expected to answer the questions against Panama at the weekend. Germany started excellent against Curaçao. They were pulled back in that game though, before the hydration break. Just stopped Curaçao from really having any opportunity to add another in there. They were always going to really lose that game. But at the same time, you never really know what's going to happen. South Korea have knocked Germany out previously with 2 late goals. It'll slip at the back for South Africa, just allows South Korea in, and the header comes in, and it's a good save down to his right-hand side from Ronwen Williams. He was unsure for a moment of where that was going to land, and he just put a nice ball onto the head of Hyung-Gyu on the penalty spot. He did ever so well to rise highest inside the area, but it was a lovely ball from the right from Young-woo into the box, and Hyung-gyu got his head onto it. Not too sure he knew exactly where he'd put that ball, and the noise here is about to get even louder in a moment as Mexico have scored a second against Czechia. Still 0-0 here between these two sides, that game, and Czechia now looking all but out. They'll have to turn it around and score 3 goals in the last 29 minutes of the game against Mexico if they want to win and get themselves through. And now the dancing is starting in the stands. The fans are on their feet. They're enjoying it now here in Mexico as they've enjoyed this World Cup. It's always a party in Mexico. Son picks up the ball, doing the defensive work on the edge of his own penalty area. He moves it across towards Hangbyon over on the right-hand side, trying to just squirm the way free and pushing it down the right-hand side of Son once again. Now the space opens up for Hyung-woo. Hyung-woo is also trying to get himself into the box as well, but it just comes off the South African last and just progresses career up the pitch with a throw in deep inside South African territory. And the noise is lively now, but there'll be a change for South Africa. The first with Moremi making his way on. As Apollos comes off, it's not been his day. He's normally a very active player down the left-hand channel, but on this occasion he has been nullified by an excellent Korean defence. He was saved from quitting football by Kwanale Koppo and his mum. Now, also a bit of a gamer as well, but he makes his way off for Sushpang Moremi as it comes out to him, and they've taken the lead, and South Africa are doing exactly what they needed to do if they want to progress. And it's Maseko who missed a really good opportunity in the first half, and he's given South Africa the lead. And Bafana bring the thunder to Monterrey under the Serra de la Cia. South Africa have shaken the group alive. From Johannesburg to the Steel Giant, South Africa strike first. It's South Africa 1, South Korea 0, and that has just woken this group up. It's South Africa 1, South Korea 0, and it's Maseko with the goal. And what a lovely finish into the bottom left-hand corner of Hyung-gyu's goal. A wonderful run down the left-hand side, just pulled back onto the right, played across the edge of the box, one touch on his right, pulled it on to his left, just drew the defender Gastrup out a little bit to open up the angle and the space, and just placed it into the bottom corner. It may have taken a slight deflection off Gastrup on the way through, but Hugo Broos and the South African fans certainly will not care. They are leading in this game, and they're leading by 1-0. And that is the reaction that they were hoping for at half-time. The South Korean coach looks on in frustration. As it stands, it's Mexico going through top of the group. It's South Africa in second place. South Korea sitting in third on 3 points, -1 goal difference. They're still in a better position than the likes of Scotland, whose 3-0 defeat to Brazil has dented their goal difference a little bit more, which is what it will come down to. Head-to-head takes place in the groups. Goal difference will take place across that next standing. But they will now also have their eye on other groups as well. South Korea, if it stays like this, can they find an instant reply? Though a point is all that they need, and now the reaction has to come from the Reds. They have to show that passion, that determination that the Red of Korea stands for, and they've got 25 minutes to try and find a leveller. But Maseko with a tidy finish into the bottom left corner to give Bafana the lead. They haven't got through the group stage in 3 of their last 4 tournaments. In fact, in 4 of their last 5, they've not got out of, well, they haven't qualified in 4 of the last 5 tournaments. But they've never got out the group stage before. Bafana. It could be history for them, even when the competition was on their home soil. They scored the first goal of that tournament, but failed to get out of the group. And on this occasion, they're doing everything right. And they're currently sitting in 2nd place, but it's now Korea trying to find an answer. With Hanbyeom, the Midtjylland right back Denmark has shaped a possible Kim Min-jae successor. He is 5 years younger. He was part of that Asian Games side that spared him military service, as a number of the players in the South Korea team. A few of them, including Son, did have to go and do at least a couple of weeks service, but not the mandatory 21 months that is required of men coming through the country. It's not quite the 10 years that, I believe it's 10 years, it might be the 7 or 10 that those in the north of Korea have to take part in. Compulsory, mandatorily, mandatory. We'll go with that. 23 minutes remaining in this game. It's South Africa and Bafana, who at the moment are putting themselves into the next round for the first time in their history. They had 3 points deducted in the qualifications. They still won the group. They failed to qualify for 4 of the last 5. The one they did qualify for was because it was on home soil in 2010. Their only goal so far came from a penalty from Mokoena against Checha. It's the first goal from open play. It's Maseko's 2nd goal for the national team in his 11th appearance. And the 22-year-old, who had 662 days without a start, has rewarded his country with it. We're going to have another hydration break in this second half. The first of the second half, but the second half won, to allow the American channels to play some adverts. South Korea, they were the 2002 hosts. South Africa, the 2010 hosts. South Korea finished 4th, losing to Germany 1-0 in the semi-final, to beating Spain and Italy in the knockouts. Despite beating France, South Africa were knocked out to the group stages behind Mexico and Uruguay of their tournament. And after that wonderful opening game, which really set the tournament alight with Shabalala's goal into the roof of the net, South Korea, though, came into this game in a stronger position. All they had to do was avoid defeat, and they should progress. But they just haven't really settled down. They had a couple of opportunities inside the first half, but they've always felt a little bit nervy. They've always felt a little on edge. They've invited South Africa onto them, and all it takes is one effort, and that's exactly what happened. It was a counter-attack down the left-hand side. The space just opened up. It was pulled back onto the right, sent in towards Maseko, who then pulled it onto his left-hand side and just sucked it into the bottom left-hand corner. The goalkeeper, Chung Yu, outstretching his hand in his 88th appearance, but couldn't do more than get a fingertip to it. They've a revitalised set-up team structure. The counter-attacking pace. They're without McQuenna in the midfield. But he could well find himself playing another World Cup game, and as it stands, that will be the case. And as it stands, it does mean there's always change in the predictors of who might play who in the next round. Africa weren't on the prediction list. You never know. They will certainly find themselves going through if it stays like it is. There's going to be 19 minutes to play when we're back underway. Son looks on. Can he find a way back in for this South Korean team? They've got 2 substitutes left that they're able to make. South Africa have 4. And it is the Bafana, the Rainbow Nation at the moment, who are dancing in the stands. They're celebrating already. It might be a little bit premature, but they're enjoying themselves for the time being. We've already seen one side this evening progress to the knockout stages for the first time in their history in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And we could be seeing another as well in South Africa. It would be a tremendous effort from this side. They haven't had the best of luck in recent years. They're ranked 60th in the world, 35 places behind South Korea. Who have never been below 69th place. Their historic high, 17th back in 1998 for Korea. And as the booking goes Modiba's way for just going in for a late tackle and then wasting a little bit of time as well. And you can't really blame him given the circumstances. It's still Czechia 0, Mexico 2. And in this game, South Africa lead by a goal to 0. 17 minutes to play. Gastrop trying to work it down the left-hand side. Just runs into a bit of traffic. Pushes it across more centrally, trying to find a man in red, but he can't quite find one and has to go back to his goalkeeper in green, just on the edge of his own area. Sung Gyu trying to marshal the troops and get them reorganised once again. They're not finding the space, they're not finding the opportunities. Jingyu picks up the ball, moves it across towards the right-hand side. Trying to probe the flanks are South Korea, but struggling in the end really to get out of their own half. And if they want to find an equaliser here, they've got to thread in the goal more than they have done in this second half. They've had just 5 shots in total on goal. They've had 65% possession, but they've had 8 shots less than South Africa, who have really managed this game ever so well. And then the long ball to Gastrop goes over the top of him and out for a throw in deep in the South Africa territory. And Bafana will be happy with where that ball is. They'll take the time to make their way over as another change is made from South Korea, and one also be made from South Africa as well, as Young Gyu comes off. And Gyu Sung, the midget land forward, makes his way on up top to try and add a little bit of firepower. 12 goals he scored in 44 games for his country. He's a late converted striker, the Ghana double hero, back from a 448-day knee surgery hiatus. 5 goals to his name during the season in the league, and now South Africa will make their change as well. Coming off the pitch is going to be the goal scorer, Maseko. What a moment. He could find himself being an absolute hero. Hero Reyners makes his way on. For those in yellow. And will that goal from Maseko be a changing moment for South African football? Will that be a special time for those in the deep south of the continent to start celebrating? It's going down the right-hand side. South Korea trying to get the ball in towards the box. It's almost kept in by Young Woo, but he just can't quite angle the cross into the box. But the referee's given a corner kick, actually, to South Korea. And I'm not too sure that was a corner kick, but the referee and VAR have given it as a corner to South Korea, so they'll have an opportunity to put the ball into the box. It must have been the faintest of touches as it's whipped in towards an near post, looking towards Son, but he can't quite get on the end of it. Still trying to chase it down himself. Not quite got the pace that he had a couple of years ago. Still putting under a bit of pressure. Wins the free kick as well, 5 yards off the near touchline. Taken quickly and goes back towards Gastrup on the halfway line. Little back heel from Gi Hyuk. Plays down the left-hand side in towards Son Heung-min. Lots of a more central position, and he's returned back in towards Gastrup on the left-hand side. Linking up with Gi Hyuk. Back in towards Gastrup. 10 yards off the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Back again to the South Korea left-back, who floats one in towards the area, but it's dealt with well by Umbukazi inside the box. The second ball, though, falling to those in red, and now the pressure starting to mount on those in yellow away to our left-hand side. South Korea trying to find a leveller. It's going to be all hands on deck for South Africa as they try and heroically defend this lead, which could be the greatest ever achievement in South African football. They've won competitions before, but they haven't got to a knockout stage at this major tournament. And this is the big one. Looking for the Son inside the box. Dealt with well, though, by South Africa, clearing the lines. And the referee gives the free kick as well to Bafana. It was Meremi who took one touch. It was a little bit heavy, and then felt the touch behind him as well and goes down under the pressure. And South Africa have the free kick with just over 12 minutes plus stoppage time to play. I'm sure there'll be about 5-6 minutes added on at the end of this game. But the momentum has swung well into South Africa's favour. Korea have had the ascendancy and the possession. They've tried to set the tempo, but the threat has always come from those in yellow on the goal. They had a huge opportunity in the first half, and a free kick will go their way inside the Korea half as well. And the yellow card comes out as Sitowell goes down under the challenge of the man who's only just made his way onto the pitch in Cho Gyun-sung. And one of his first engagements and involvements in the game is to find himself into the Argentinian referee's book. He's been quite quiet, the referee, this evening. A couple of yellow cards have been flashed, but nothing too major. And South Africa will take their time with this free kick. The referee bringing the South Korean players back. South Korea have 8 in a wall, 5-6 yards off the edge of their own penalty area, trying to move the South Africans away. Only 3 making the run. They're not committing too many men forward, but they've won the second ball across the left, down the left-hand side of the penalty area. Pulled back into the centre. Little link-up play on the edge of the area, trying to work it towards the edge of the D, but Son picks up the loose ball and just sends it into the South Africa half in hope more than expectation. And those in yellow will pick up the ball again and retreat back towards Ronwen Williams. He takes no prisoners there and just sends it deep into Korean territory and out for a throw halfway inside the Reds' half. The Korean fans who came here to celebrate the Korean coach down on the touchline, looking on in frustration. He's had plenty of stick over the years. as the Korean coach, as another change is being made by South Africa. Mofokeng, who started in this game, the countdown is on from the referee to make the change, and eventually Mofokeng raced off quicker than you will ever expect to see, as Adams, who was dropped for him, makes his way on for the remainder of this game. Mamelodi Sundowns player comes on to add a little bit of fresh legs in his 12th appearance. A Stellenbosch Academy first matured after Bruce dropped him for lateness. Now comfortably playing under the pressure. With 9 minutes to play, the countdown is on. Also 9 minutes to go in the game between Czechia and Mexico. Mexico leading by 2-0. Czechia need a very, very, very big miracle if they want to go through. South Korea could still be going through even with 3 points. If this was 4 years ago, they would be facing elimination. 8 of the 12 teams that sit in third place will go through. 4 points is going to guarantee you a spot in the next round. 3 points might not guarantee you that certainty. You'll be looking over your shoulder. You'll be knowing that you will be ahead of the likes of Scotland. They won't be too happy with this result. It's the worst case scenario for a game that's taken place just after their loss to Brazil. As an Englishman, that makes me quite happy. But as a neutral, this game started to slowly come alive in the second half after feeling like it had ran out of breath inside the first half. South Korea playing into the hands of South Africa as it stands. A lovely ball though into the box from Gastrup, trying to play it toward the opposite side of the penalty area, but Modiba is there just to clear his lines and just hoof it away higher than Bob Marley towards the halfway line. Little header that's knocked down just comes off the South African forward, knocked down inside his own half again by Gi Hyuk, just trying to cushion it down, but it comes back and the referee will stop play and gives the foul against Buremi, and that might be a rather harsh decision from the Argentinian referee as it just bounced. It was a 50-50 challenge, but he came in just ever so slightly late. On the substitute. As it's looked towards Gastrup, managed to keep himself onside. Good first touch, pulls it in towards the area, but there's nobody there. Son made the run, as did Kang In. They both ran ahead of the ball, and the cross that came in from Gastrup goes just right behind them, begging for someone to get on the end of it. But there's nobody there in red to tuck it home. Inside their own half again are the Koreans trying to work it forward. Once more with Mbuen. Linking up nicely, driving 10, 15 yards. Lays it nicely in towards Gyu Sung. Back in towards the middle again, towards Jingyu. Moves it across towards the right-hand side, trying to probe the flanks. A little bit of space over on the right-hand side for Young Woo, but it was a poor first touch, which meant he had to pull it back onto his left, and then his cross didn't quite have the accuracy, and South Africa are able to clear the line. 6.5 minutes to go in this game, and it's just slowed down here for South Korea. They're trying to find a way through, but they're running out of time, and they're taking a little bit too long to make decisions about where they want to go. They don't quite have the shape to try and get through this South Africa side so far, who have dealt with the majority of what South Korea have thrown at them rather comfortably. They had an excellent qualifying campaign. South Korea, they scored 40 goals, only conceded 8 times. As is played in towards the box from the right-hand side and headed out behind their own goal, and it's going to be a corner kick to Korea. And it was good defensive work from Sitowell, having a much better game here. He's redeeming himself from that opening game in which he had an absolute catastrophe with his red card and being at fault for a goal as well. Is the corner going to be swung in from the left footed? In swinger in towards the middle. The keeper, Owen Williams, comes out for it, flaps at it, but just about gets a hand onto it. And then South Africa able to clear the lines at the second attempt. He wasn't the most confident in the goal there, the South Africa captain, on that occasion. As the third place rankings go so far, South Korea are sitting in fourth place. Scotland currently in seventh, Cape Verde in eighth, Paraguay just above them, but teams still have plenty. Some teams have another game to go, and South Korea will be looking at the four teams that are sitting just below them, and maybe one or two that are even further below that for a possibility. Sun comes over, it's going to be a corner kick to South Korea, taking it quickly, plays it towards the far side, knocked back towards the edge of the 6-yard box, but there's just no one there, and the volley from the edge of the box goes over the top of the bar, and it's celebrated like a goal from the South Africans in the crowd, and the South Koreans looking rather frustrated. It was Young Woo with the volley. He hit it sweetly, but couldn't quite keep it down. The Mexicans are in the stadium here in Monterrey, are celebrating with the South Africans at the moment. Both of these two sides could still well be going through. South Africa, as it stands, are guaranteed. They're going for the green, the gold, the glory. And it could be a magical night in Monterrey. For Bafana, as they've gone inside the Korean half, and they'll get a free kick as well, and the time will just slow down in their favour. The referee trying to get on with the free kick quickly. Maremi gets hold on. He hasn't hit that very well at all, and South Korea able to get hold of the ball, but then the second ball falls kindly towards Sitterwell, sends it back towards the halfway line, just going to get pumped forward by Umbukazi into the Korean half. 3 minutes to play in this game for South Korea to find a goal. All it'll take is one for them to go back ahead of South Africa. Driving down the right hand side, having his shirt pulled as well, is Gyu Son. The referee allowing that to continue from Madiba, who's already on a yellow card. If Gyu Son had gone down and been a little bit unsporting there, or even just playing the foul, that could well have been a second yellow card, and it would have been the first red card that the South Africans had in this tournament. Had 2 in the opening game. The whole of the Qatar tournament, just 4 red cards. There was 3 on the opening night of this one, and there's been a few more since then as well. South Korea with the ball, playing it over the top in towards the penalty area, but can't quite get it out of his feet. Down the right hand side is Mbwem, and he looks like he's been stood on as well and struggling with it, but South Africa clear the ball. He's going to get sent towards the edge there in towards Son. Takes on his left, takes a strike and takes a deflection out as well, and down for a throw in on this near side, level with the edge of the 6-yard box. There's a bit of cramp going in on Mbwem, and his Korean players are trying to get him back onto his feet. Young Woo getting him on the pitch once more. The throw-in's already been taken. Son down the left-hand side. 90 seconds plus time added on to go in this game. Drives in towards the centre. There's 3 inside the box over on the far side. Space opens up down the left for Gi Hyuk. Sends it in towards the box. Cleared out towards the edge of the area. And now South Africa are able to clear the lines once more. Space, oh, it's been given away. It's in with Son once more. Back on the edge of the area, and it's just hacked away by South Africa once more. And they're doing their job, and it's Mudau on that occasion, just wrapping his foot around it and putting it out of danger and into the stands on the far side. The Korean fans cannot believe what they're seeing. They've controlled the game. They've had 60% of the possession, but haven't been able to do anything with it. Long ball looking to go over the top, goes over the top of everyone, are coming together. The referee happy with the challenge, and Owen Williams will take his time to pick the ball up off the ground, and we are getting closer and closer and closer to the end of the 90 minutes as Williams sends it forward. 30 seconds remaining of the 90. We'll see how much time will be added on. It's desperation station now for the Koreans. It's all hands on deck for South Africa. They've been defending valiantly and this game's been going on. They're parking the bus. They're getting bodies back in numbers. The Mexicans are already having a party. Their side are leading by 2-0 against Czechia. They've won the group. They're showing crying children on the screen here at the ground, which has always been a tradition. But 6 minutes added on to turn those tears of sadness into tears of joy. They aren't out of the competition, but it will make every game after more and more nervy for the Koreans unless they can find a goal and send South Africa out of the competition. That's what a late goal for South Korea would do here. Puts them through and sends South Africa packing and benefits many other sides trying to chase that final 8 places. Those 8 places in third spot. Whipped in towards the area, almost found its way through, but cleared back out towards the far side. We're 1 minute down of the 6 added on. Pushed back out towards the halfway line. The second half has certainly had a little bit more vigour than the first half. Over on the far side, once more, the substitute Jin Swopu came on for his 15th appearance. A late bloomer from semi-pro to a title winner. Tries to get the ball forward but loses out. Sun, though, with a nice interception. Picks it up towards the halfway line. Pushes it across towards the left-hand side towards Gi Hyuk. Continues it down the left-hand channel again in towards Gastrop. Drives onto his right. Takes on 1. Takes on 2. Plays it to the area in towards Sun. There's 4 South African players crowding round him, though. Runs out of space. Play back in towards Sun on the left-hand side. Continues it going across in towards Imbone, back onto his feet, no longer with the cramp, knocked down in towards the area, and it's just cleared out for a corner kick from the South Africans, and they are really putting their bodies on the line. Korea can't quite get anything on target. They can't quite test Ronwen Williams because this defence of South Africa has been absolutely superb in this second half, and it was Sitoel once again who has been tremendous in this game. He let his country down in the first game. He is certainly making up for it here. Corner swung in, cleared back out towards the edge of the box. Little turn, 15 yards off the edge of the penalty area. Sent back towards the left-hand side. Gastrop with an opportunity to cross. Goes for the outside of his book. Flicked on and it's straight into Ronwen Williams. And that could well have been the moment from a yard out. The connection just was not there. Gastrop with a beautiful ball, and all it required was the substitute Jin Sue to just get a little bit more on it. He got away from his man. He had a slight nick off the top of his head, but all we needed was just a faint bit more on it, and that could have been a magical moment in Monterrey for South Korea. But as it stands, and there'll be more celebrations here in a moment, when it feeds through that Mexico have a third against Czechia. Chavez and Quinones, the players to score earlier on. And Fidalgo in the 94th minute adds a third for Mexico. Their fans will enjoy this, and they may be celebrating with South Africa. They'll be celebrating with one of these two sides in 3 minutes' time, that's for sure. At the moment, it's South Africa who have the ball inside the Korean half, trying to whip a ball into the box themselves rather than going towards the corner. Hacked away, though, into the South African half, looking for a challenger, but it's easily dealt with at the back. Mudau just lays it down to try and bring the ball back under control, trying to switch it from right to left to try and open the space, but getting on to the end of it was Hambuen, but he can only play the second ball into South African hands. Sitterwell on the halfway line, just going to put it forward deep inside the Korean half. We've got just over 90 seconds of stoppage time left to play here. Looking forward once again in towards Sun. Can't quite win the ball, and South Africa clear it again towards the halfway line. The Koreans trying to get onto it. A big gulp from the Korean coach, he knows that this has been a very royally disappointing evening. And Hong Myung-bo, the man in the dugout, has taken plenty of criticism, but how a late goal could save his skin. He's sent in from the right-hand side, hacked away though by the substitute Rainers for a throw into Korea. 60 seconds to go. Kastrup throws it in towards Gi-hook, tries to put a cross in, really poor cross, and comes down and breaks free towards the right-hand side, and then just sent forward again by South Africa. It wastes more time. Hugo Bruce looks as calm as ever on the bench. Down this near side, Mama Joy in the crowd is about to have joy she's never experienced before on the international stage. Long ball forward, dealt with as it has been by South Africa. They're holding on to the ball. They're just playing it out. They're keeping the possession. It's exactly what they need to do. They've got an attack going as well, trying to feed it through towards the left-hand side of the box. But out comes Jeong-yu to get hold of it. They've got to get it forward. Only about 10 seconds left. They're passing it around the back instead, South Korea. Now it goes long. It's now or never. South Africa on the end of it. They've got the ball. They laid it down. Go back towards keeper. Mexico beaten Czechia. They are out. And there's the full-time whistle. And South Africa go to the knockout stages. Green, gold and glory in its magic in Monterrey for Bafana Bafana. They struck when it mattered, and under pressure and against the possession, they found a way through to break history in South African football. For the first time ever, they have made it to the knockout of the major competition of the Worlds. South Africa, they win by 1-0. They go second. It's not over yet for South Korea. They will look at every other result, but it just simply was poor from them. The first half was a poor first half from both sides with limited effort. Kim had a header cleared off the line for South Africa in the opening, for South Korea, in the opening couple of minutes. Kang Yin then had a strike from the edge of the box when he should have hit the target. The best chance in the first half though came to Gakpo, who managed to keep himself onside after an Umbatha shot from 25 yards out, forced the keeper into a fumble straight into his path, but all he could do is pass it straight back to the goalkeeper. It was 0-0 at half-time. The second half started to open up, started to become a little bit more lively, and South Africa sensed an opportunity that South Korea weren't taking to try and keep themselves in that second spot. And Maseko with a wonderful strike into the bottom corner. It was a lovely counter-attack down the left-hand side. Wonderful ball going across the edge of the penalty area. Maseko took it on his right, drew it onto his left, and then just put it into the bottom left-hand corner of Kim Jeong-yu's goal. And that is enough for South Africa to go to the knockout stages. They'll keep an eye on who they'll play in the next round. South Korea will keep an eye on the other games. But here in Group A, it's finished South Africa 1, South Korea 0. Good night.
Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings,